Like Rouen is the capital of Upper or Haute Normandy, Caen is the capital of Lower or Base Normandy. Caen is the home of William the Conqueror, who defeated Harold at the Battle of Hastings to become King of England. Before he was known as Conqueror, William was known as the Bastard Duke, reflecting his status as an illegitimate son of the Duke of Normandy. Since William was illegitimate, some of his relatives felt they had better claims on his duchy, so they tried to ambush him. When the ambush failed, they raised an army. William, meanwhile, hightailed it to the French king Henry I and persuaded him that an attack on his loyal vassal was an attack on the king. Henry bought the argument, in part because he liked William more than his relatives. Henry sent an army to join William's against a larger army of the various barons. The royal and ducal forces were better organized and beat the rebels outside of Caen, preserving William's title. The nobles still didn't like William. He was a bastard, after all. But they declared a truce of God at Caen, which legitimized the title of illegitimate William and gave him the backing of the church. Then William fell in love with Matilda, a very short, 4'2", snotty, and stuck-up daughter of the Count of Flanders. She was also William's cousin. The incestuous relationship wasn't as important to Matilda as the fact that she was a descendant of King Alfred the Great of England, and too good for a common bastard like William. When he proposed, she turned him down. When William was told that Matilda would never marry a bastard like him, he hopped on his horse, rode to Flanders, intercepted Matilda on the way to church, grabbed her by her hair braids, drug her off her horse, and threw her down in the street, then rode off. Showing that codependency is nothing new, Matilda then agreed to marry the bastard. Since they were cousins, the Pope told them no way. They didn't care and got married anyway. If Matilda was short and petulant, she was also fertile. She gave William 10 kids. Now don't feel too sorry for Matilda. She wasn't exactly a saint. She was in love with an English ambassador to Flanders, who was happily married and not interested. She got even when she was acting as regent of England for William. She seized the lands of the guy, had him thrown in prison without charges, and had him poisoned. William had his duchy and his wife, but he still had a little problem with the Pope. In order to get the Pope to look the other way regarding his marriage to his cousin, William promised the Pope 2 Benedictine abbeys. He would be buried in the Abbey aux Homes, seen here, and Matilda would be buried in the Abbey aux Femmes, separating them for an eternity. In light of eternity, what were a few years here on earth, William argued. The Pope magnanimously agreed. I'm sure picking up a pair of abbeys had nothing to do with his change of heart. Caen is also well known for the fierce fighting that occurred around it during World War II. It was one of the keys to the Normandy invasion, so British General Montgomery selected it as his own objective. While no plan survives contact with the enemy, Caen was part of Monty's first-day objectives. Of course, being Monty, it took him more than a month. Operation Charwood is an example of Monty's plans. The Allies bombed the city to rubble, with 467 aircraft dropping 2,300 tons of bombs in 40 minutes, supplemented by naval bombardments. This destroyed 75 to 80% of Caen. You're looking at the remains of the church of Saint Etienne-le-Vieux, damaged from the bombing during Operation Charwood. The bombs killed more French citizens than German troops. Then, the Brits waited until the next morning to attack, giving the Germans time to recover. Even worse, the rubble created by the bombing impeded British armor. Classic Monty. This shows the damage sustained from Operation Charwood. Chateau du Cal's walls are at the top of the picture, and St. Pierre's church is in the upper right. Mackenzie, Pam, and Madison are standing in front of St. Pierre's, with the steeple restored.